event season is upon us, so everybody's trying to get registrations going. Everyone is trying to make sure they have enough attendees who will show up, right? The biggest question that comes to people's minds is, what do I do to get more, especially new attendees? And then what do I do to get people to register earlier? Attendee referral programs. If you bring in one of your friends and or a peer, we'll knock off X dollars from your registration and or spiff you back some money. And that's a good enough incentive. And or we'll upgrade you into a VIP party, like some kind of an incentive to actually get them to talk to their peers and bring them into the fold. Love to understand from your perspective, Tamar, what are the kind of things you've been doing?
Without a doubt, the easiest thing you can do is try to identify advocates and loyal attendees and use those people to try to reach new attendees. But quite often, event marketers, they'll resort to what feel like quite easy tactics, which is social ads, throwing more email out there. Anything, they're looking for kind of lead generation, but they want conversions. And so everything they do is around driving that conversion. Whereas if somebody hasn't heard of your brand, they haven't heard of your event before, the chances of you being able to persuade somebody on the back of a single email or an ad that they see to actually register, take the time to register for your event and then actually show up is fairly slim. But in your event community, you've got all of these people that already know your event, and hopefully in there are some people that love your event, and it's the people that love your event or come back year after year that you should be really trying to utilize.
The event owner has so much information about attendee to attendee and about attendee to exhibitor, right? But in most cases, they don't use that information to connect all of us. It's the event owner's job to make sure that they have some way of having those relevant matches. It's not like, hey, registration done, and the next thing is when you come to the event, there's nothing that happens in between.
Networking, or the way that traditionally networking is done, I think very few people find it of value. And I think the more that an organizer can curate and introduce people to each other, that is one of the main reasons for people to attend an event, is to grow their network, meet existing network, maybe be educated, but being able to discuss and find new connections that you have things in common with and you can discuss challenges with is really important. That's what would make me come back and advocate for the event.
But yeah, I also would love to understand from your perspective, somebody who's doing an event right now, for example, planning for an event 6 months down the road, right? When should they trigger their marketing?
When you're talking to event marketers, they're often thinking about, that's when my registration's going to open and I'm going to start trying to convert people into attendees. But long before then, especially if you've got a new event, but even if you haven't got a new event, is about creating awareness and about trying to nurture people that have a need for your event. So you're trying to find in a big sea of relevant people, the people that may have a need and a desire to attend an event like yours. And if you don't do that pre-work and all you're going to do is like suddenly switch on lead gen, registration, conversions, that's what everything I'm doing is about, trying to convert people. That's where things get tricky, expensive and very difficult to do. So like we said, in an ideal world, you would be in your marketplace, creating awareness, delivering value, and not just asking people to register. You should be building awareness of that event. So by the time you do open registration, people like that, you've worked out who those people are that are most likely to come to your event. Your event needs to be able to clearly tell people what they're going to get out of it if they come. What problem is your event going to solve for them? So for me, it would be year round, but you're doing brand marketing and value marketing and demand generation. You're doing all of that before you open your registration and start trying to get people to register.
No, that makes a lot of sense, Tamar. And I do sometimes talk about the whole festivalization concept. Festivals are very popular, especially millennials and the Gen Z, that they live and die by that kind of stuff. They've been listening to those artists. They've been connecting with those artists throughout the year. As soon as they open registration, it's sold out in days, We don't have to hound them. I don't get emails from like a bunch of these festivals, register. They're like, sold out, sorry. So the point is, I think if we can bring some of those learnings into the B2B event world, because it's those people who are coming to the B2B event world. Millennials already there, Gen Z's coming, right? And they're used to that, being part of a tribe, being part of an ongoing experience throughout the year. People need to know what they're getting into. Why should they drive all the way there? Why should they fly in, spend all this money? And especially post-COVID, now people are more not as open to just traveling 2 weeks out of 4. So like giving them that value continuously